Welcome to the Kaizen Project. So today we're here with Anna Liu, and just introducing our host this week, I'm Samuel Lowe. This is Richard Chen. And Anna, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself?
So hi guys, my name is Anna Liu, and I'm currently a 1B student at the University of Waterloo. I'm in the faculty of AHS, so that's Applied Health Sciences, in the program of Health Studies. Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about some leadership roles you've had in the past?
So originally I went to Middlefield Collegiate, which is like right by the corner. And basically I was, in grade 12, I was student council president. In grade 11, I was student council vice president. And then in grade 10, I was music council co-president. Throughout the years, I've taken like leadership positions in different clubs. But yeah, that's pretty much my leadership experience back in high school. And then in university, first term, I was residence ambassador for the residence that I'm living in. I'm currently applying for student ambassador of Waterloo, along with the residence ambassador for this term. And yeah.
Whoa. Oh my God, that was a long list.
Yeah.
President, applying to that, to this. How do you think you have all the time to do all of this, balanced with your academics?
Honestly, if you don't think about it too much, it kind of just works out. Like, I really like using this thing called an agenda or a planner, and I like to plan my day out accordingly. That's really important for all you high school listeners out there. It's really important to plan your day out. But I think that having so much experience back in high school really helped me, because now I'm better at planning and I don't really get stressed out easily. Yeah.
Wow. So you said you were student council vice president. Student council president in grade 12, vice president in grade 11,
Yeah.
right? So how did you exactly get into this role? Like, what propelled you to run for this vice president and president role?
So in kind of starts back in grade 10, but I was music council co-president, and then the advisor of student council kind of came up to me and was like, hey, I think you should run for student council vice president. And I was like, okay, I'll apply. I didn't think I'd win though. But yeah, so then I got student council vice president, and after doing so much work for the school, you kind of grow to love your community. And then by the end of grade 11, I was like, okay, I want to run for student council president. That was a big journey. But yeah, I think a lot of it comes from a place of loving your school and loving your community and wanting things to get better. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of our viewers are younger high school students, and they're watching this because they want to either grow in a leadership position or just establish themselves in a position. So if you're in grade 9 or in grade 10, how would you differentiate yourself against all your other competitors who would be in grade 11 or 12 running for a big position?
Oh, okay. So one of my, I feel like one of my tips is to not, don't doubt yourself or don't hesitate. If you want to run for it, go ahead. Because the worst thing that can happen is you don't get elected. But even that in itself, you learn so much. Everything's a process, and you learn so much from each individual thing that you're doing. For junior students, I know it's a little bit more challenging kind of running against upper years, and that was kind of my position back in grade 10. But I feel like if you go into it with genuine kind of aspirations, if that's the right word, if you have genuine views and you want to change things, and you're genuine throughout the entire process and you stay true to your character, and there are going to be hardships, but if you follow through, I think over time it'll pay off.
Mm. So for example, this year I ran for president for junior achievement, right? So the way I did it was during my pitch, I you see that Rubik's Cube over there? So I actually used the Rubik's Cube, did some tricks with it, and I feel like that really boosted my presentation. So do you feel okay, so if you're in grade 10, you're trying to run for a president position, do you feel like you should just channel your emotions in your speech, or should you do some other creative ideas instead?
I think it's different for every position you're running for. If you're running for something like a grade rep, then I think you need to do whatever it takes to cater to your grade. But if you're doing fun things or jokingly things, but if you're running for a more serious position president, then I think that it's important that you communicate that professionality to your group, so that they understand that, hey, like, you do have a lot of capabilities and you're serious about the position, and if you do get the position or if you are elected, that, like, you aren't joking around in it. Yeah.
So do you think going the extra mile and doing all these things like the Rubik's Cube, or like what did you kind of do for the extra mile to get all these people to vote for you?
So for the election campaign process, the entire, like, all my lunch breaks, I'd be out in the rotunda, like, campaigning for like a good solid 2 weeks. Yeah, so that's what I did, and I don't know if you can consider that the extra mile if that's just normally what you do when you campaign, but that's kind of what I did to, like, get myself out there and to, like, talk to even the kids who, like, even the students who are older, that you're kind of like, ooh, I don't think they'll vote for me. Do that, and I feel like eventually it'll, like, pay off. Yeah.
So that's definitely, I think, going an extra mile, because that is actually a really big, it takes a lot of confidence to go up to people who are older than you, who you don't think that will actually vote for you. So I'm like, how did you build up this confidence to, like, go around to these people? I'm just wondering. Because I feel like a lot of the viewers are younger, right? So
yeah,
they may not have this confidence that you hold. So I'm just wondering, how can you inspire these younger people to have confidence just like you?
That's a good question. I feel like I was born with a lot of confidence. Sometimes I'm overly confident. But honestly, like, what's the worst that can happen? You walk up to someone, you're introducing yourself. Like, the worst that can happen is they go, sorry, I'm not voting for you. And then it's like you brush it off and you continue on, right? Like, there's so many people in the school that, like, everyone has a different opinion on you. If you were to care about every single person's opinion, then, like, it'd be, like, way too much. So, like, I know, like, for me, like, there were times where I got tired and I was just like, why am I spending every lunch going to talk to people? But then, like, what I told myself was, hey, campaigning is only 2 weeks. Work your butt off for the next 2 weeks, and if it pays off, it pays off. If it doesn't, then at least you know you tried your best. Because the worst feeling is saying, like, oh, I'm not going to do this, and then when the results come out, you go, oh, I could have done this, or I could have done that. Living in the could-haves is, I feel like, one of, like, the worst feelings, because you're like, if I had done this, then maybe I'd be where I want to be. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
okay.
It does. Do you think it's, like, just getting all these experiences, and then these experiences just kind of, like, bump up your experience or bump up your confidence little by little? Because you're in grade 10, you were co-president of music council, and then I'm not sure, did you do something in your feeder school, so Parkland?
Yeah, but it really doesn't count. I was a student council in, like, grade 8, and, like, we had, like, these, like, different ministers, so it kind of, like, followed with, like, parliament structure. And I was, like, minister of justice, but it really, like, grade 8, it's kind of like like, grade 8. Those are, like, the nice years.
True.
But that was probably, like, my leadership experience back in grade 8, yeah.
So would your advice to be just get involved early as you can, and then through that you would just get the confidence to just do things in the future more and more?
Yeah. Definitely.
Cool. So aside from, let's just say, taking on leadership positions, when you are a leader, how do you motivate people around you?
So in grade 10 careers, like, you learn, or civics, I think you learn about all the different, like, leadership styles. Right. And the way I like to see it is, I like to change my leadership style depending on the group I'm working with. Mm-hmm. If you have a really like, nice group that, like, knows what they're doing, then I kind of motivate other people by, like, joking around with them, or, like, being like, hey, how about we try this, how about we try that, and I treat everyone that I'm, like, in a council with as friends, because I feel like if you establish that nice friendship, then it's a lot easier to kind of talk things through and make sure that things run smoothly and communication doesn't become an issue if you guys are already established that kind of friendship. Yeah.
So you obviously establish, like, friendships with people you're working with when you're a leader, but when do you find it necessary to take others' opinions into account, and how do you do it? So obviously you want to be friendly, right? However, you also want to sometimes be more strict. Mm-hmm. So when do you take people's opinions into account, and when do you try to make the executive decision?
So during, like, your regular planning meetings is when I'm like, okay, guys, like, spill out whatever ideas you have. And then when we get, like, this happens all the time in residence council, where, like, we get stuck on a decision, like, do we run this event? And then at that point I take into consideration, like midterm season, or, like, how many people are leaving campus, and that's when I say like, okay, I'm making the decision, and we're gonna be running with this event. But obviously, like those events are ones that they've brought to the table. Yeah.
Cool. So I think we covered a lot for your leadership experience so far. So that's pretty good. Why don't we talk about more to the next level? So now you're a university student. So specifically about Waterloo, you're in health sciences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, yep. So how do you like your university program?
It's mixed feelings. I like it. It's very nice. It's a pretty large group of people, but it's really nice. But it does get stressful with all like the science courses you take, and the labs and the lab reports. So sometimes when there's a lot on my plate, then I'm like, oh geez, why'd I come here? But overall, I like the school. Yeah.
So for your specific program, do you want to just explain what it is?
Oh, yeah. So basically, health studies is a relatively new program. It combines both the traditional aspects of health, so like like the sciences, so biology, chemistry, but then it also takes into like perspective social determinants, so like socioeconomic status, race, things like that. Yeah, that's pretty much what my program is right now, and a bunch of students who are in it have like the aspiration of becoming doctors. So yeah, you can like specialize in my program because it's an honor science. Don't ask me what that is. I don't even know what an honor science is. I just tell everybody I'm getting a Bachelor of Science honors health studies. I don't know what that means. And then, yeah, you can like specialize in preclinical, or that's all I know because there's like 4, but like that's the one I know because I'm specializing in that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool, like getting into university and all this. It's just like, it's that next step in your life, right? But anyways, going back to you, how difficult do you think was how difficult was getting to university, like getting your marks, everything ready, and all your extracurriculars and all your supplementary applications just due on that time?
It wasn't super difficult, but sometimes there were like moments of doubts where I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna get in. Oh geez, I think I'm gonna like be at home next year. I don't think I'm going to like getting into any universities. But it's not like the thing that everyone says, like you'll get into a university, like for sure you will. Like I know like a lot of people, I know like I had the doubt where I was like grade 12, I don't think my marks are high enough, but honestly everyone gets in if you try. If you're like doing okay, if you fill out your supplementary applications, you'll be fine.
So was this like your program of choice or?
Yeah, so this was what I ranked on OUAC as number 1.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so for your program specifically, how hard was it to get?
Dude, y'all are gassing me up right now. But how hard was it? It was okay. It wasn't that hard. They mainly look like Waterloo specifically. They look a lot like they put a lot of weight on your AIF, which is your like supplementary application. So I just typed that up really nicely, spent a lot of time on that. Grades kind of follow if you're working hard, if you're doing your work, the grades will follow. Yeah, but I mean, like, obviously I still had that, like, stress, like, where I was like, oh my god, I don't think I'm gonna get in. What if I don't get in? I don't want to go to blank university, like, you know, like, insert the university.
Okay,
No shade. No shade.
I think that's my life right now. Worry about which university am I getting? Like, oh my god, it's so stressful. Honestly, grade 12.
Yeah.
But why'd you end up like choosing Waterloo as your top choice? Just wondering.
Oh, this sounds so dumb, but I really wanted to get away from home. Like I was like I really wanted to live that residence like life where like I had to commute like 2 hours just to get back to Markham, and then I felt like if I was like on my own, then I'd learn a lot of the life skills that I need in the future. You'll notice that in undergrad, if you do choose to go, like live away from home, that I feel like a lot of it is learning. It's to learn how you learn. That sounds kind of weird, but to learn like the strategies that work for you, to learn the study like tips that work for you, and to learn how to like time manage, how to get involved.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that too. I want to move out too to like learn.
Yeah.
What was the phrase?
Learn how to learn.
How to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
to learn
so.
how to learn.
Oh, I can't remember what I said. Yeah, learn how to learn.
Yeah. I think that's why I want to move out too.
Yeah?
It's like you make a lot of connections and have a lot of fun experiences when you're outside of home, and it's just so much easier to make friends. And I feel like those connections really help in the future whenever you're in the future working industry and whatsoever.
Yeah, networking is very, very important. Yeah.
So how is the campus culture specifically at Waterloo? Do you want to answer that or?
Yeah, I can answer that. So I think that there's a lot of stereotypes towards Waterloo, where everyone thinks that Waterloo is kind of like the school with no social life. If you want a social life, go to Laurier. That's not true. Waterloo's pretty amazing. There's we have over 100 and something different clubs. Basically, whatever thing you want to get involved in, there's probably a club for that. There's a knitting club. There's an anime club. There's a gaming club. There's a poker club. I didn't even know that you could have that. But yeah, campus life is really nice. But I feel like with any university, if you don't get out of your bubble and if you don't try to look for places to get involved, or if you don't try to look for events to attend, then you're not gonna kind of do very well. But if you want to have a strong social life, you're gonna have to step out of that bubble. And the same with Waterloo. It might be a little bit challenging, but there's so many things around campus that you could do, and it's a pretty nice social life. It has a pretty nice social life. Sorry.
So
Yeah.
do you want to talk about which clubs you're in, or what activities do you do in your free time?
What activities? I read a lot.
Nice.
I don't read things of my choice. I read course literature.
Oh, textbooks.
Textbooks.
Oh.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I type up lab reports. This is so fun, guys. I type up lab reports. But in terms of clubs, I'm currently on HOSA. So yeah, I'm currently planning with a team of 5 this presentation on public health policy for the annual HOSA competition in April downtown. I'm also on residence council and student residence, stuff like that. So I'm usually planning events with them, or I'm hanging out with friends at the library.
So for our viewers who don't
so
really,
sad.
I mean, it's okay. Studying is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
You always get in. You eventually need to get into the habit where
Yeah.
you're constantly working and working.
But one of the things I stress is to take time for yourself, to realize when you're tired and when you're exhausted, so that you don't reach burnout, and to take the necessary kind of de-stress things. One night I had 2 weeks where I just had midterms. So then one night I was just okay, I'll just lie in bed, turn on my fairy lights, and watch musicals, and that's what I did. Yeah. So figure out how you de-stress and make sure that you're de-stressing so you don't reach burnout.
So make sure you have time for yourself.
Yes. Make sure you take care of yourself. Because if you don't, then you really can't do anything else, because your body should be number one.
Yes, you gotta balance it. And people say there's a triangle.
There's a triangle?
Yeah. Okay, so there's work life, social life, and sleep, and you have to balance them all out.
Yes.
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 That's basically what the triangle is.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you've probably never heard of it before, but I'm pretty sure it's how it works. But anyways, going back to HOSA.
Yeah.
I want to explain to our viewers what HOSA actually is, because some of them may not know.
Oh, to be quite honest, I'm kind of confused too. But basically, HOSA is a group of students. It's okay, so basically, HOSA is kind of like DECA, but for health. So there's these annual competitions at the provincial level, I believe, and then there's the international level. Currently, I think we're doing provincial level. But basically, you take health related topics, I'm doing opioids, and then you kind of make a presentation on the importance and what society can do to avoid blah blah blah, or to prevent blah blah blah, and then you present it in front of judges. I think that's kind of how DECA also works.
Yep.
But you present it in front of judges, and then you get ranked, and then if you do well, then you proceed to the next level, and I think your goal is to get to internationals. Right? Yes?
Yeah.
Is that how it works with DECA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Then it's kind of like DECA, but for health.
So how different is it from high school HOSA and university HOSA?
Oh, we didn't have a high school HOSA, so I don't really know how to
yeah.
answer that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think a lot of schools, in Ontario, do have a high school HOSA. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we didn't have one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we
I
didn't
mean,
have one.
it's about starting it up if you don't have
Yeah.
it. Because in the previous year, our school didn't have a DECA either,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this year we started it up. And I guess if you don't have DECA nor HOSA, you can try asking a teacher. Because, as Anna said, the worst they can say is no, right? So you try asking a teacher, starting it up from your school, and then maybe you can get all these experiences that we're getting right now.
Yeah, so if you're a Middlefield grade 11 or 10 student, start up a HOSA. So, and continue with Middlefields DECA. So Richard started one this year. It's doing pretty well.
Oh, Richard!
Let's go.
All right. So how do you deal with the size of Waterloo, and how do you get around?
Waterloo is huge. It is so big. Like, honestly, it's like, so we have 3 campuses. We have one in Stratford, we have one in Cambridge, and one in Waterloo, which is our main campus. But it is so big. For me to get to my friend's place, it's a 1 kilometer walk. I think that's probably like why I haven't reached freshman 15 yet. But like, there are different ways to get around. We have like campus shuttles, so that's like the university shuttles that take you around the university, and you can kind of like, it's kind of like a free Uber service. But then we also have the city's buses that run in the campus. And most of the time your classes are usually in like the same area. So it's usually not that bad of a walk. But it's a pretty big campus. How do I deal with it? You just do. Like, there's nothing you can change. You can't go to somebody and be like, hey, can you change the campus, like the size of the campus? So you can't just do. You cope with it. Yeah.
Wait, you said something about freshman 15?
Oh,
what is that?
Okay, so freshman 15, for all you high school kids, it's basically the idea that when you get to university or college, whatever you choose to do, that the first few months will be so stressful, or like you'll have so much freedom that you choose to eat the things that aren't necessarily healthy, and then when you go home and weigh yourself, you gained 15 pounds. Yeah, some of my friends have freshman 15, but yeah.
I mean, maybe to get rid of freshman 15, do more exercise, like to get around campus, like instead of walking, maybe do something that requires some more physical exercise.
Yes.
Like get a skateboard, you know? You can skateboard from one place to another place, get some daily exercise in, also getting from point A to point B.
Yeah, and the thing is with Waterloo, most of the residences have a gym in like on the first floor, and then we have, is it 2? Yeah, we have 2 big athletic buildings. So we have like a gym. No, we have 2 gyms, a swimming pool, a skating rink.
Skating.
Yeah.
So
and there's like other things. There's like, we also have like shoe tag, like activities where you do like, you can do like yoga, Pilates, karate. There's a bunch of things that the university offers. It's about like getting out and like taking those opportunities. Yeah, or like take advantage of those opportunities. Yeah.
So like everyone can access those.
Well, if you pay like your WUSA fee, which is kind of like in high school, it's kind of like the equivalent of like your what's that fee called?
SAC fee?
The student activity fees.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. If you take those, then you get like discounted prices on these activities. Yeah.
Oh.
But like for example, there's always like rec swimming class hours where you like, let's say like pay $2 and you can like swim for like an hour in the pool or something like that. Yeah. They make it very affordable. And like the gyms, if you pay your activity fee, then the gym is just, you tap your walk card, your Waterloo student card, and then you're done. Yeah, you can go in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. So overall today, I think we covered 2 main topics. 1 is leadership, and 2 is your student life at Waterloo University. So is there any last words you want to really say to our audience?
You said that like the majority of the students watching are like, you know, in high school, like high school students. Thing is, make sure you have a plan for what you want to do in high school, and make sure you kind of have like a designated place that you want to get to, or like a goal that you want to get to. Work your butt off in high school because it pays off. If you want to get into a good, you know, program, it pays off. And have a good time in high school. Don't complain about homework. I swear, I hate the last thing, like the thing that I hate hearing is when high school students go, I have so much homework, I have so many readings. No, enjoy your life right now in high school because it does get harder, but it's also fun. Yeah. And learn your strategies, your like time management strategies and your coping strategies now when you don't have to pay for, you know, high school before you get to like, you know, post-secondary, and then you actually have to start paying for your education. But yeah, it's fun. Don't be afraid of post-secondary. I feel like for me at least there was a fear of post-secondary and being on my own and stuff like that. It's a good experience. Everyone that you meet, you'll meet your best friends in post-secondary because those are the ones that you're studying till like 4 a.m. with. Those are the ones you're crying with. Those are the ones you're also like laughing and doing different activities with.
Alright, cool. So this just about wraps up today's episode. So we're going to set up a platform where the viewers can discuss like the topics that happened during this episode. And just before I leave, we just want to send a big shout out to all our viewers who are keep on supporting. So smash the like button, turn on the notification bell, just do whatever you can to help support us to beat the YouTube algorithm. So that's just about it. Thank you very much for watching and catch y'all next time.